Hello, class. Dr. Suresh here. So, we've gone through the initial tooth preparation. You've got your outline form. But let me ask you a question. Are you really done? Is that prep actually ready to be restored? Because, these final steps we're about to cover, this is what separates a restoration that just gets by from one that is excellent and will last your patient for years.
Okay, so let's break this down. There are 4 key steps to what we call the final tooth preparation. First, we're going to remove any leftover defects. Second, and this is crucial, we protect the pulp. Third, we finish those external walls. We'll spend a lot of time on that. And finally, we clean and inspect everything. Let's walk through this, because getting these right is how you create a restoration that's built to last.
All right, first things first. We have to create a clean and sound foundation. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't build a house on a shaky foundation, right? Same thing here. We have to meticulously get rid of any and all defective enamel or that soft, mushy, carious dentin from the pulpal floor. You've got to be absolutely positive you're building on solid, healthy tooth structure.
So picture this. You're leaning in, loops on, looking down into your prep, and you see a little dark line, a remnant of a fissure on that pulpal floor. What do? What's your next move? Do you just leave it? Do you start drilling deeper? Well, your clinical decision right here depends entirely on what kind of defect you're actually looking at.
And here's how you make that call. It really comes down to 2 situations. If you've got a large, extensive fissure that runs across a good portion of the floor, your best bet is to deepen the entire floor with your 245 burr. But, and this is important, only to a maximum depth of 2 millimeters. Now, on the other hand, if you just see a couple of small, isolated spots, you can be much more conservative. Just take out those specific remnants with the right-sized carbide burr.
Okay, so what if you start chasing one of those little spots and you realize, whoa, this is a deeper pocket of caries and it's heading toward the pulp? This is a critical moment. Alarms should be going off. Put down the high-speed handpiece. Seriously. Now is the time to switch to a much more delicate instrument, like a discoid spoon excavator or a round burr on a slow speed. This intentional change in instruments, that's really the first step in our second stage, protecting the pulp. Using a spoon excavator or a slow speed gives you that tactile feel, that control you need to carefully scoop out the soft dentin without just blasting away healthy tooth structure. And this is so important, because it not only protects the pulp, it also protects the tooth's resistance form. Why? Well, because you're not widening the outline of your prep. The main support for your final amalgam restoration is going to come from that solid peripheral pulpal floor, which is still at its ideal initial depth, just inside the dentino-enamel junction, the DEJ. That's the whole game in stage 2. Get rid of the disease, protect the pulp, and keep the tooth strong.
Now that we're sure the inside of our prep is solid and the pulp is safe, we move on to stage 3. And I need your full attention here. I'm serious. This is probably the most critical stage of them all. This is something that will absolutely be on your board exams, and more importantly, it will define your clinical success with amalgam for your entire career. We're talking about finishing the external walls. Memorize this. Engrave it on your brain. Say it with me. You never, ever, under any circumstances, place a bevel on the cavosurface margin of a preparation for amalgam. This is a fundamental, non-negotiable rule of operative dentistry. So what do we do instead? We aim for this, 90 degrees. This is the magic number. This is your goal. You want to create a nice, sharp 90-degree angle where the wall of your preparation meets the outside surface of the tooth. And this isn't just some random number we picked. It's based entirely on the physical properties of amalgam itself. And this specific 90-degree junction has a name. We call it a butt joint margin. Think about it. 2 flat surfaces butting up right against each other. This geometry is what gives you maximum bulk and therefore maximum strength for both the enamel margin and the amalgam margin. You're creating a strong, solid interface that can resist fracture. So why? Why is that 90-degree butt joint so important? It all comes down to this one simple fact. Amalgam is a brittle material. It's incredibly strong when you compress it, but it has very, very low edge strength. It simply cannot survive chewing forces if you thin it out to a knife-like edge. The material itself tells us exactly how we have to design our preparation. And this chart says it all. If you put a bevel on that margin, the angle of the amalgam is going to be way less than 80 degrees. It becomes thin, it becomes fragile, and it is going to chip under occlusal forces. It's not a matter of if, but when. By creating that strong 90-degree butt joint, you ensure the amalgam at the margin is bulky, strong, and at a very low risk for fracture.
All right, we're on the home stretch. Our internal form is clean, the pulp is safe, and our walls are perfect. We are now ready for the final stage of the preparation. This last step, right before you start packing in amalgam, is what ensures you get a perfect result.
Now, I don't mean a quick little puff of air. Debridement means a thorough, detailed cleaning of the entire preparation. Use your air water syringe to blast out all the little chips, tooth dust, and debris. Then you dry it and you inspect it. I mean, you meticulously inspect every single wall, every line angle, every nook and cranny. Is it completely clean? Are the walls smooth? Is that 90-degree cavosurface margin absolutely perfect? This is your last chance to make sure everything is perfect before you restore.
So let's wrap this up. What are the key takeaways? The non-negotiables for your final prep. 1. Remove all the defects, but do it smartly, protecting the pulp and the tooth's resistance form. 2. You must achieve that 90-degree cavosurface angle. That's the butt joint. 3. Say it again. Never bevel for amalgam. 4. Remember that amalgam's brittleness is why we need that 90-degree design. And 5. Always finish with a detailed cleaning and inspection. Get these right and you're set up for clinical success.
You know, when you master these final steps, you're not just passing a practical exam. You are building restorations that are designed to withstand years and years of function. You're ensuring that restoration is strong not just today, but for a decade or more down the road. And that is the difference between just filling a hole in a tooth and providing true, long-lasting care for your patient. Think about that.